Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and do some more turkey patterning, and today we've got a combo that I think should be an absolute hammer, and quite honestly, I don't know how we have not tested this combination yet. I thought for sure we have, but when I was going through the tests that I wanted to do this week, checking to make sure that I'm not duplicating anything, I found that we had not tested this combination, and I was especially surprised considering that these shells and this choke are both some of the best stuff that we've tested. But how have we never put the two of them together? I don't know. So I see no reason why this shouldn't give us an absolutely nasty performance. But for the shells I've got today, I brought out some more of the Herter's TSS loads. They did just recently change the box art on these. Either way though, these are a 20 gauge, 3-inch, 1.5 ounce payload of TSS 9s at about 1200 feet per second. If you've been around the channel for any length of time, you've probably seen us test some of these Herter's loads. We've ran them through just about everything in 12, 20, and 410. They are absolute hammers, and for my money's worth, these are probably the best shell on the store shelf right now when it comes to a TSS load anyway. For the price versus performance aspect, these shoot the same or better than the Longbeard TSS shells do, and the Longbeard TSS is quite a bit more expensive than what these are. These still aren't cheap. These are probably $12 a shell or so not cheap at all. But the price, performance, and comparing them to everything else on the shelf versus custom loads as well, these are pound for pound probably the best money you can spend on a TSS shell right now, in my opinion. So we'll see how they perform through today's setup. But for today's setup, I brought out the Stevens 301 20 gauge. It's got a vector red dot up on top with a 26-inch barrel, and we're going to be running the Avian-X Crusher. It's a 565 constriction choke. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got porting, straight rifling, steps, all of that inside of there, and it has been an absolute hammer for us. These are a pretty mid-price range choke, 45 to 50 bucks, and they're hard to beat for the money as well. So will this combo be the best bang for your buck TSS shooting combination in 20 gauge? Potentially so. So we'll see what it can actually do, because it should be rather impressive. Before today's test, we're running everything the same as usual. I've got the turkey target at 40 yards and the chrono to get our velocity. So let's get you guys a view of that target and see just how nasty of a pattern we're able to get. I see no reason why this shouldn't work unless something goes crazy wrong, but just how capable is it? Let's take our shot and see what we get. Okay, that shell gave us 1231 through the chrono. We have a boss claim of 1200, so we're right where we should be, just a tad over that claim. So looking good here as per usual, but how nasty of a pattern did we get at 40? Let's check it out and see. Okay, so here we are down at our 40-yard paper, and we see some pretty nice looking results here. First off, we definitely favored low. This is not the choke or shell that my red dot is zeroed with. That's why we use the big backing sheets though, so we can see where our pattern hits, and we can definitely see everything there is to see here. That is a nice, hot, even looking spread right down there. So yes, it still would have been a dead bird. We do have a couple up there in the bottom of the spine, and obviously you would have had a bunch of body shot hits, but if we had that centered up, that bird would be hammered, no question about it. Again, nice ton of pellets right through the core area there. It might not be the hottest or the spiciest looking core that we've seen from these shells. We've probably gotten a few more pellets down in there, but it's a nice even spread as well. There might be one little void just kind of towards the left corner of that turkey target, right there in the center of the screen, right along the bottom edge of the paper, but it's nothing major. Around the edge, we have a couple little flyers over there off the left, couple more up there at the top and down the right. Nothing unusual to have a few flyers with these shells. And if you look left and right down there at the bottom two corners, you don't have a ton of leeway off the edges of what would be the turkey target. That's a pretty tight condensed area of shot right there. So it absolutely is a hammering combination, just like I thought it would be. But obviously we favored low, and we've got a turkey target that didn't really flake off all that great for us to see. So let's get the turkey target out of the way. I'll finish drawing all of our circles. We'll count some pellets, and we'll really see just how good this pattern is, because I think it's going to be a beautiful hunting spread. All right, so turkey target is now out of our way, and we can see that, yes, indeed, this is a nasty looking pattern. We have a 10 and a 20-inch circle drawn there. Within our 10-inch ring, we have 295 pellets. Beautifully even area there as well, except there's that one little hidden void that I picked up on earlier, right on the edge of the 10-inch ring there on the left side. Very small, about the size of a golf ball. Nothing major, but it is there, and it is a little noticeable compared to the rest of the pattern. Outside of that though, within our 20-inch leeway circle, we pick up an additional 219 pellets, and that still continues that same trend. Pretty even, might be a little thinner up towards the top there, but still pretty much everything is within the 20 or 10-inch ring. Outside of that, we do throw a few flyers like we saw earlier. Nothing out of the normal for these shells overall. That's very typical, but that is still a perfectly nasty performing 20 gauge pattern. That's 40 yard capable. You could push that to 45 and probably 50 yards as well and still do the job. Now, technically speaking, I don't think that is the tightest or the hottest, nastiest pattern we've seen from these shells. I think we have gotten a little bit nastier from them. Now, do you need any tighter than what this gave us? Absolutely not. That is more than enough. You can see it doesn't give you a ton of leeway to work with. You run out of pellets as you get towards the edges there pretty quickly. But if you have it centered up, that's going to hammer a bird any day of the week. So like I kind of suspected, this is about what I thought we would see. Another nice, condensed, nasty area of shot. I don't know how we haven't tested that particular combo together yet, but now we know, or at least now we have confirmed that, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic performer. So nothing here I didn't expect to see. I obviously would not hesitate to run that at all. And for what it is, I still think it's pretty hard to argue with the Herter's loads or one of those Avian-X chokes. Obviously, TSS is not cheap no matter what gauge or what brand you go to. And you don't have to run a TSS to kill turkeys, that's for sure. But in these sub gauges especially, I think the Herter stuff is pretty hard to argue with. As for all the rest of the stuff out there, they are automatically one of the little bit cheaper quote-unquote shells on the shelf, even if these are about, I think, $57.99 a box or something about like that last time I checked. And these are a Cabela's Bass Pro Shops exclusive type of shell since Herter's is their brand. It's all made by Winchester though, but that does mean that if you're a club member, you can get these shells at a little bit cheaper price than that even. But regardless of that, you can't argue with those results, and we've pretty well covered it now. That pattern can speak for itself. Once again, another deadly performance from both the Herter shells and the Avian-X chokes. And here's the wad out of that shell. Nothing fancy to see, but it performed just like it should. Little piece of grass down in there, but nothing else. No major damage or anything like that to be concerned with. It clearly did the job perfectly fine, so nothing I'm worried about here. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? It pretty well speaks for itself. At this point, it probably sounds like I've got some sort of brand deal with either Avian-X or Herter's, and I promise you, I do not. Most likely, neither one of those companies have any idea who I am. I never have and never will have any brand deals for you guys, but if a shell or a choke is just a hammer consistently, then I'm going to tell you about it. And that's pretty well been the case with both these Herter shells and that Avian-X choke across the board in all of the gauges for both the shell and choke. So if you want to run a TSS load, you don't have to spend the big money on a fancy custom load to be able to do the job. That right there is on equal playing field with any custom load that we've tested. We may have seen, you know, a better result or two here or there, marginally, but a turkey isn't going to know the difference between 290 something pellets versus, you know, 310 pellets. So you just can't argue with that kind of performance overall. And when it comes to sub gauges, it's a good idea to start running TSS. In 20 gauge, you don't have to, but if you want reliable 40-yard performance, that's the way to go. And clearly that's going to give it to you, no questions asked. So leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Herter shells or that Avian-X choke or the combination of the two? And what kind of results have you seen? Is that a pattern or a performance you would actually hunt with? Or would you still just try and run a lead load, limit your range a little bit? Or are you the guy that's going to spend the big money on a custom hand-loaded TSS load that's even more expensive than what these are? Or are you perfectly happy with that performance? And what other shell or choke combos do you want to see us run with either those Herter's loads or that Avian-X choke? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.